Hello and welcome to Sydney-wide Chiropractic. Today I wanted to talk about the spine. I have a model here of a patient and it is a plastic one. Some people have often asked me whether it's a real one, and I assured them that it was not a real one. Okay, so I'll go through some basic anatomy as to how the spine, how it's comprised, what it's made up of. Which is obviously bone. In between the bones we have cartilage, these discs here that act as shock absorbers for the spine, and we'll start from the bottom and work our way up to the top. So here we see these big bones here. This is called the pelvis. It's actually made up of 3 fused bones. I'm not going to get too technical with this. I'm going to keep it really basic so that everyone can understand this. Okay, the next component, the pelvis, joins onto this triangular bone here, which is called the sacrum, which is made up of 5 bones which are fused together, and after the sacrum is the tailbone, which on my model is missing, which is what we call the coccyx. Okay, now in this, the continuation of the sacrum, we have 5 bones. Lumbar spine 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lumbar spine with the adjacent nerves which come out of each side. So each vertebrae has 2 nerves. Then we have 12 thoracic vertebrae, and they are labeled from thoracic spine 12, 11, 10, 9, all the way up to thoracic spine 1. And once again, each vertebrae having a pair of nerves innervating a specific area of the body. And then we have 7 cervical vertebrae, this being the back of the skull here. And we have the first vertebrae known as the atlas, the axis, and 7 vertebrae. And there are also 3 curves in the spine. Okay, so we have the thoracic lordosis, then the thoracic kyphosis, then once again the cervical lordosis. Tilting that over. Okay. So typically we have, this is the type of alignment that we want. Okay, so this is the thoracic kyphosis, this is the cervical lordosis, and that is the lumbar lordosis. So in very basic terms, what chiropractors do and what I do at my practices is that we align the vertebrae. So typically the vertebrae of the spine misalign in various directions. Typically they go backwards, but they can go backwards and slightly to the right, slightly to the left, or even forwards. So what we do is we palpate the spine using our hands, or some people use various other machines, and then using an adjustment, which is typically administered by our hands, we realign the vertebrae back to the center, thus taking the pressure off the nerves. And the adjustments that are administered do not have to be strong. They don't have to be forceful. They can be very light, or accordingly, if the patient requires more force to move that vertebrae in a desired direction, then more force can be applied accordingly. But the techniques nowadays have become so refined that you find that less force is used to administer an adjustment and correct a subluxation. Subluxation meaning a misalignment of the vertebrae. I thank you once again for watching and hope to see you soon at the clinic.